Hey guys, welcome back to Monster Matinee. Today we're diving into Smile 2, the highly anticipated sequel that brings back that sinister, unnerving grin from the first film. Only this time, the curse finds itself in the hands of a Grammy-winning pop star. Let's break it down, spoiler-free, and then dive into where this movie hits and sometimes misses. 6 days after witnessing a horrific event, Sky Riley, a famous pop star with a troubled past, becomes the latest victim of the Smile entity, which feeds off trauma and possesses from one person to the next through death. With her mind unraveling and hallucinations blurring the line between reality and nightmare, Sky desperately tries to outrun the curse. With the help of her estranged friend and a mysterious investigator, Sky is willing to do anything to break free from the entity's sinister grip. But is there truly any way to escape this horrifying fate? So absolutely the biggest standout of this film is Naomi Scott as Sky Riley. I've got to start with her performance because she just absolutely owns this role. You can tell she put everything into portraying the pop star who's barely holding it together after a traumatic accident. At first, I wasn't sold on the idea of a pop star being the focus, but the behind the scenes glimpses we get, like choreography sessions, interviews, media events, they really pull you into her world. And it's actually a unique backdrop for the story. And just 2 days after being cast, Naomi Scott was in the studio recording, and thinking about it, she's singing, doing her own choreography, all the while acting as Sky Riley, who's already being terrorized by the demon at this point in the movie. It's really impressive. And not to mention, her music for the movie is pretty catchy, like the song New Brain. So Scott's portrayal of Sky as someone who's struggling with addiction, fame, and then the added horror of the entity actually makes for a compelling watch. She navigates the emotional spectrum with ease, making the audience feel her anxiety, fear, and desperation as her life spirals out of control. And boy does it spiral. Movies like this are rarely recognized during award season, but that's how good her performance is. Okay, the deaths and scares. Just a quick note, if you're squeamish, brace yourself. The deaths in Smile 2 are brutal. Having just watched Terrifier 3, I didn't think I could wince as much, but man, this film delivers in the gore department. From face smashing to eye stabbing, each death is more gruesome than the last, and the camera does not hold back. We see it all. Add in some well-placed jump scares and there's plenty of moments to make you flinch. The hallucinations feel more intense this time around, and they strike when you least expect it. Often with that classic, loud musical jolt that gives you the chills. Now, I've got to give director Parker Finn major props for direction and editing here. The camera work is incredibly dynamic, always on the move, creating this constant sense of anxiety that mirrors Sky's internal breakdown. Some of the match cuts and transitions are visually stunning, and some scenes, especially the opening, feels like a technical masterclass. It makes me want to see Finn try his hand at an action thriller because those sequences were tight. But that being said, Smile 2 isn't without its flaws. The biggest issue for me? The runtime. Over 2 hours for a horror thriller can start to feel like a bit much, especially when it gets a little redundant. There were definitely moments where Finn was hammering home the themes of trauma and fame in ways that almost felt spoon-fed. At times it was a little bit too on the nose, but I'll admit I did find the pop star angle a little more interesting or convincing than the therapist storyline from the first film. Another issue? The hallucination trope. If you've seen the first Smile, you kind of expect some sequences not to be real. But this sequel takes it even further, and after a while, it starts to feel a bit like a cheat when it comes to progressing the story. You know things aren't going to be what they seem, and that removes a bit of the tension. And don't even get me started on the product placement. Talk about being hit over the head with it. One too many lingering shots of the Voss bottled water. So, for letter grade, Smile 2 earns a B-. It's a solid, well-executed horror film that brings a fresh perspective with the pop star lead, and the brutality of the deaths is shocking in the best way possible. While the runtime does drag a little bit and the hallucination twists can feel a little bit overused, there's still a lot to enjoy here. Plus, like I said, Naomi Scott's performance alone makes this one worth watching. I'm not sure they could take the concept into a third movie, especially with that wild ending, but I'd be open to see where they can go with it. Alright, for further viewing, for more movies like this, be sure to check out the movie Hereditary. This film delves into themes of trauma and familial curses, much like Smile 2. Its unsettling atmosphere and psychological horror, I think, will resonate with those who enjoy the emotional depth of Smile 2. And for another, make sure to watch The Babadook. If you enjoyed Smile 2 for its exploration of mental health and the effects of trauma, then The Babadook is a great follow-up. It examines grief and the monsters we face within ourselves, similar to Sky's struggle with the curse. Alright guys, that's all. Just a few thoughts on the movie. Definitely recommend it. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more content, and see you in the next one.